Alright, hey guys, so today I'll be playing a little bit of Path of Exile. This is a free-to-play action RPG that you can find on Steam. It's very similar to the likes of Diablo, Grim Dawn, and so forth. Very similar to Diablo 2 in my opinion. There's 6 different classes. Each class uses different types of weapons and have various abilities and so forth. In Act 2, I am the ranging class, so I'm going to be using bow and arrows. I have this little buff here that looks pretty cool where I can shoot like flaming arrows and set people on fire and they sort of explode when they die. There's a whole bunch of skill combinations. If I open up my inventory, you can see that the skills are actually combined to these gems, and you can level up the gems to make your skills more powerful. You can also link them together to have skills support each other. So for example, this shrapnel shot, I have it linked to added cold damage. So there's cold damage being added to the shrapnel shot ability. Also over here, I have a burning arrow, and I have it linked to chance to ignite. So it does additional fire damage, and it has an additional chance to ignite, which does burning damage over time. And here's a bunch of other items that I'll go into a little bit later. But let's go ahead and travel through here and hopefully kill. I'm guessing there's going to be a spider boss in here. I haven't been in here before. It looks pretty creepy. There's a lot of different dungeons in the game, but there's also plenty of overworld areas if dungeon crawling isn't your thing. There's tons of overworld areas as well. Let me look at that guy. And dead. I should also mention that I feel like I'm a little bit overpowered at this point in the game. I am only level 20, so I'm sure that's to be expected. Normally in action RPGs, it gets a little bit harder later on. The early game, they seem to help you quite a bit. Lots of items, lots of loot on the ground. I'll go into the loot in a little bit as well once I get some better items. The white items I don't really pick up, they're not really worth much. Let's see, nothing here. I went the wrong way. You may notice I'm running super freaking fast. I have it's called a Quicksilver Flask. It's like a little speed buff that lasts a couple seconds every so often. And one thing that's kind of neat about this game is your health potions, mana potions, and your speed flask will recharge by themselves as you get kills. So you don't have to worry about constantly picking up potions. They automatically refill over time. And same with your mana and your health. My mana will constantly be recharging while I'm not killing anything. Iron Will support. I'll have to check that out. I just got a gem with a new ability on it. Alright, so I am definitely going the wrong way. Kind of a maze. I'm looking at the map in the top right corner. You guys probably can't see it, but that's why I keep looking up in the top right. But I think I went the complete wrong direction. Looks like that was a dead end, so we're gonna have to go the other way. More spiders, and I just leveled up. It's a good chance to show you guys the skill tree. Alright, so this is the skill tree. It's absolutely massive, as you can tell. Each little circle is a perk, basically, that improves your stats. And the ones with pictures on them have various stat boosting potentials. They have lots of different things you can enhance and various skills or passive perks that you can unlock. And basically it's up to you. I started here. I could have started down this path. I could have gone up to this way. I decided to go to the right. And there's a bunch of different things I can unlock, but I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I need to, I'm not really sure what I should get at this point, but obviously it's up to you. You can build a very tanky class, you can build a very offensive class, you can build a class that has crazy abilities. It really depends on what you're going for. I also have this cool skill that I can place this like ballista tower and it'll shoot enemies for me. And sometimes the enemies actually attack the tower, which is pretty interesting. I don't use it very often, but it's just something extra. Actually, I have a ton of abilities that I have equipped, but I only use 2 for the most part. I'm sure later on, once I get better combinations going, it'll make more sense. Alright, so I picked up a rare quiver there. Might be something useful. Should be getting close to the end here. Chest. Sometimes I like just putting up the ballista tower to kill enemies behind me, because I don't really like spending too much time killing the, I guess you call them the trash mobs, the weak monsters. They don't really give you a whole bunch of experience. They kind of just slow you down. Get that orb. Alright, almost out of here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there's a lot of like rare mobs in here. Not getting too much. Grand Life Flask, that might be useful. Keep going. The Weaver's Nest. Alright. So I think we're about to fight a boss. Ooh, yep. Here comes the boss. Let's go ahead and put a quiver there. Use my speed potion. Get out of here. Gotta set these spiders on fire. This reminds me of the, like, I think it was like the second boss in Diablo 3. There's a boss like a spider boss, very similar to this. Use health potion and killed it. Sweet. And again, I didn't get any good loot, but sometimes you just get unlucky. But we completed the quest, so now we can go back to town and we can talk to the guy and he'll give us a quest reward. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that right now. We'll open up a portal, travel back to the forest encampment, which is the Act 2 town, and we'll talk to this guy up here, I think. One of these. I forgot which ones. And he's giving us a new skill, faster attack support. Support skills have 26% increased attack speed. That's super good. Physical projectile attack damage support. Support attack skill deals 31% more damage with bleeding and poison caused by projectile hits. Wow, these are actually super good. Elemental damage with attack support. Support attack skills deal 36% more elemental damage. That's pretty good too. I think I'm gonna go with either this one or this one. I really don't know where I'm going to put it though, which is kind of a problem. I guess I can get rid of added cold damage support and maybe do faster attacks. I think that might be more beneficial. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this one. Sweet. And we'll talk to this girl. They're just giving us more quests and so forth. So let me open up my inventory and I'll show you guys like how the loot system works. So basically when you pick up an item, they're unidentified and you have to use a scroll of wisdom to identify them. And then you can see their various stats. So this quiver here adds life gain for each enemy hit by your attacks, which would be very useful for survivability, and a bunch of other things. And here's my current quiver. My current quiver adds fire damage, which I think is more worthwhile, at least in my opinion. And yeah, there's just a ton of loot that you pick up as you play, and there's a ton of different areas. I can show you guys the map currently. This is the Act 2 map. Here's the Act 1 map. I'm not entirely sure how many acts there are in the game. I'm sure there's more than 5. But yeah, there's just like an overload of content, and it's completely free to play, which is awesome. I guess I should talk briefly on the microtransactions. One thing that I don't like is that, as you can see in my inventory, I have a lot of these like small little items, as you can see here. These are called currency items, and you can use these to enhance various weapons, and the more you get, they sort of like level themselves up. So like for example, let's see here. A stack of 20 shards becomes an engineer orb. So as you get more of them, they create additional items. And there's just an overload of these small little things. And a third of my inventory is being filled up by these small little trinkets. And I was wondering, I'm like, why don't they have a stash, like a separate stash for all of these little trinkets, so that I'll have more room to pick up items? And that's one of the main reasons why I don't pick up items. Well, it turns out they do. And it's part of their microtransaction system. As you can see here, there's a bunch of different cosmetic things you can get, various character effects, classic effects, pets. There's all sorts of different things. But the thing that I wanted, let's see, it's account features, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom. There's something called a currency stash. It's very expensive. It's 75 points. These points you have to pay real money for. So if I wanted a currency stash to get rid of all those little trinkets, I would have to buy points, and I would have to pay $10 for 100 points to get the currency stash. So that's sort of how they get you. It's sort of how they make money on this free-to-play game, is by getting you to purchase expanded inventory slots, stashes. You can get multiple different slots in your stash. You can add more by paying real money, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, if you're willing to deal with having a bunch of junk in your inventory, if you just want to like toss it in your stash instead, you can. It just makes the game a little bit less enjoyable, I suppose. So the microtransaction makes the game a little bit more, how would I say it, a little bit more organized with your loot, and makes it a little bit easier to progress if you don't have to deal with sorting your loot all the time. But that's like my main complaint. I guess my other complaint is the game starts off a little slow. And you guys can probably like back me up on that. If you decide to play the game, the beginning, like the first hour or so of the game, is very slow paced and it feels a little sluggish and a little bit difficult too when you don't have your items. But as you progress, you get more skills and you go down this huge skill tree. Basically unlock whatever you want. Another thing I should say is I'm pretty sure if you wanted to respec your character, I think you have to pay for that as well. Not entirely sure how it works, but make sure you guys are careful on what you decide to unlock and not unlock. But yeah, pretty cool game overall. Just wanted to quickly show you guys what it's like. I think it's super fun. There's a lot of overworld areas, a lot of dungeons, a lot of quests, and the quests seem to go pretty well, like in order, guiding the player along. Unfortunately, I don't really care too much about the story, so I just skip through the story and get to the action. But you can play this game online with friends. I think you can play with up to 4 players, which is pretty sweet. And that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.